Hey, this is Zulem Urbina, and tune into the relay for the latest news in boxing all around the world. Thank you for supporting myself and other female boxers. We truly appreciate it.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news. Ow!
Okay, we'll start with this. Well, Tasman Fighters, who promoted the big Shannon O'Connell versus Taylor Robertson All-Australian Showdown, posted this via their Instagram account with a caption that reads, Tasman Fighters' Taylor Robertson is back on the cards fighting with us on the 4th of December at Fortitude Music Hall. And I think the people at Tasman Fighters, they have the right idea, getting Taylor Robertson back out there in a jiffy, because she may have lost that Shannon O'Connell fight. And she lost that fight wide on my card. But because of her movement, her usage of the ring, her angles, she didn't take too much punishment. She was definitely outworked. She was.
But she didn't get banged up.
Not so banged up that she can't squeeze another fight in before this year is out against some pedestrian-level opponent to get her back into the winner's bracket and keep her on schedule, because Taylor Robertson don't got a lot of fights. She was, 3-0 ahead of the Shannon O'Connell fight? That early in a fighter's career, they're in a developmental stage to where they need to get out there, and they need to get out there often. The loss to Shannon O'Connell might be a blessing
A blessing in disguise.
for Taylor Robertson, because moving forward, she will have dealt with a far more experienced fighter than herself and still managed to finish the fight on her feet. She lost, but you learn more losing to a Shannon O'Connell than beating some girl in her pro debut. All that's going to do is give you a false sense of confidence.
If you do that for too long, it will.
Taylor suffered a setback. No fuss, no muss, no biggie. All she's got to do is get back on the horse, get back on the saddle, and get to it. I don't imagine that Taylor Robertson's next opponent is going to be of the same caliber as Shannon O'Connell. I don't think so, but I do think
Tasman Fighters has the right idea.
Taylor Robertson can rebound off this loss. I still think she has a promising future as a pugilist, and
These are growing pains is what they are.
it's part of the process, and you have to trust the process. No word on who it is that Taylor Robertson will be fighting next, though we'll keep our eyes peeled and keep you posted. In other news, per tweet from Michael Benson, Martin Bakole has accepted an offer to fight Tony Yoka in La France in December. According to his trainer, Billy Nelson, he said they are now just waiting on confirmation of the fight. And this is a strange turn of events. Martin Bakole fighting Tony Yoka instead of Filip Hrgovic, who he was tabbed to face in the near future just as well. It's pretty strange that Tony's next fight is in France as opposed to here in America, when the news before, ahead of his last fight, was that if he makes it through that fight, he would make his top-ranked debut here stateside before this year is out. Yet his next fight is over there in France. You wonder if he hasn't severed ties to Top Rank. He sees no need to come to America, and he's deciding to just be based out of France instead and develop a grassroots following out there, which isn't the worst idea in the world, though I reiterate, it is a deviation from the original plan. Yoka versus Bakole isn't a bad fight. It's a good fight. It's still a really good fight.
But this is unexpected.
Just as unexpected as what the rumor mill is spinning, that Tony Yoka and Estelle Mosley Yoka are no longer together. The Olympic gold medalist couple are now divorced. They have 2 children between them.
But they're going their separate ways.
I don't presume to know what led to the split. I don't presume to know what happens behind closed doors between the Yokas, the then Yokas,
That's the tune the junkies are singing.
the Olympians, as they were. They're getting a divorce. They're getting a divorce at a time when Tony Yoka is tabbed to face Martin Bakole in La France. They're getting a divorce at a time when Estelle Mosley Yoka is being tabbed as Katie Taylor's next opponent for December. And we'll see. I think Estelle debuted as a professional 2 years after Katie Taylor, 2018. She's only got 9 professional fights.
And I don't think she's the finished product yet.
I think those eggs need more bacon before Estelle Mosley Yoka is actually ready to face a seasoned professional like Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor, who Estelle might have upset in the amateurs, but Katie can upset her here and now in the pros. I have to admit that I haven't been overly impressed with how Estelle Mosley Yoka has been looking, and her quality of competition, it really isn't the best.
So we'll see if her people really do decide to take on Katie in December.
Just back to Tony Yoka, and how he's set to be capping off the year in his native France as opposed to here in the United States, making his top-ranked debut. I don't know what this really means right now. It's open to interpretation. It is a deviation from the plan, though it is a good fight against a good fighter, Martin Bakole.
So it's not like he's hiding out over there.
So it is safe to say, in the event of a close rounds, the hometown fighter will get consideration from the judges. I mean, it is safe to say that if you're going to have a close fight with a guy like a Martin Bakole, could be a close call, you want to do so when you got home field advantage, and that's what Tony's got if the fight goes down in France.
And maybe that's why they're doing it over there.
What you want to look out for is a U.S. broadcast partner, because if the U.S. broadcast partner for this fight is ESPN, the way it's been, like the way it was for Tony's last fight, then that means that relationship with Top Rank is still active. That is, if ESPN is still showing his fights to Americans here in America. We'll see. More answers will come once the fight is confirmed.
So let's wait for that news to drop.
In other news, per tweet from Dan Raphael, at Monday's WBA purse bid for the Lee Wood versus Mick Conlan featherweight title bout, Matchroom Boxing won with an offer of $1,500,666,000 to beat the only other bid of $1.2 million made by Top Rank Boxing. Wood gets 55%, that's $861,666. Conlan gets 45%, $704,999.70. And I'm sure he'll spend those 70 cents wisely. This is an excellent fight. I've been waiting for this situation to come to a head, to come to some kind of reconciliation.
Been wondering who'd win the rights for this fight.
You can call me a Matchroom shill if you want to, but I think that this fight is in better hands with Matchroom than it would be with Top Rank, because Top Rank is a U.S.-based promoter, and this fight don't feature no U.S.-based fighters. Mick Conlan's Irish, and Lee Wood is from the U.K.
Where the fuck was Top Rank gonna do that fight? Here?
Here in the States? Do you think that fight means to the Americans what it means to the Irishmen and the Brits over there in the United Kingdom?
That fight don't belong here.
If you want to ensure that this fight happens in front of these two guys' fans, their core supporters, the best place for it really would be across the pond, across the Atlantic Ocean in the UK, where Mick Conlan's fans can show up and Lee Wood's fans can show up. The thudding power of Lee Wood, who's on the up and up in his prime years, and the pedigree and pugilism of Mick Conlan, who's not the biggest puncher, though he does come from a stronger amateur background than Lee Wood, comparatively.
50-50 fight.
This one is, and I don't want to get into a breakdown just yet. This is the second time Matchroom will have beat out Top Rank in a purse bid, lest we forget. They bid a little over Top Rank for the Lopez versus Cambosos fight, but they were beat out by Triller, who subsequently was found in default, so the rights for the fight, they went to Matchroom, and now Matchroom's doing a fight.
Lopez versus Cambosos.
They're doing that fight, and they're doing this fight. Conlan versus Wood. It used to be a running gag. Matchroom losing purse bids. They're supposed to have this big wallet.
Now they're starting to flex some of that muscle.
At the right time, I might add, because on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean right now, a lot of the boxing fans, the ones in the UK, the ones in the US, they've been asking themselves if they're really getting value for money moving forward now that DAZN means to stage pay-per-views, and there are rumors and rumblings that DAZN will not renew their partnership with Golden Boy Promotions moving forward, the only US-based promotional outfit they deal with.
People have been wondering if they should unsubscribe.
You know, these days it don't take much to get the boxing fans moaning and groaning about something, but I think this lends itself to DAZN's overall bottom line, this content, because this is a good fight. I mean, I don't think this does much in terms of swaying the Americans to stay on board, but those fight fans in the UK,
Yeah, I think they're gonna like this.
and now it's just a question of Matchroom and DAZN making it official, giving the fight an official fight date and a location to get this ball rolling. Is it going to be a standalone event where this is the main event, or will it be featured on some other fight's undercard, a bigger fight than this one?
Those answers will be coming shortly.
Matchroom and DAZN, they're making moves. They are. The DAZN platform, if they decide not to renew with Golden Boy Promotions, I think that would be the smoking gun, as it were, the evidence that they really are scaling back their efforts in the U.S. market because it's too unstable a market.
I don't blame them.
An article detailing what DAZN means to do in the immediate future has been circulating, that DAZN reached a deal to buy out BT Sport. First pay-per-view is in the works, and Golden Boy Promotions is leaving. portion of the article reads, after Fight Camp it was announced that the subscription fee of $1.99 would rise to $7.99, that's for the Brits, leading to complaints from the fans due to the empty schedule. However, the news of gaining BT sports rights will be welcomed. According to our source, from next summer, DAZN will broadcast Premier League, Series A, and Champions League's game, as well as WWE, boxing, and the UFC. Although the rights for the latter ends in November. The deal is unspecified, but it is believed to be a multi-billion-dollar deal, and there could be an announcement about the deal within the next 4 weeks. Now, as far as what DAZN has planned for the United States, their boxing fans, after this year, DAZN will reportedly no longer be associated with Golden Boy. Their deal expires at the end of the year, and it is unlikely to get renewed. Triller could become the new home for Oscar De La Hoya's promotional company, while Canelo could return to the platform after his upcoming unification showdown against Caleb Plant. Depending on who he wants to face next, there is much to be desired about the future of DAZN in America. Now, maybe I'm being a little bit selfish here, but I don't want Golden Boy Promotions and DAZN to sever ties with each other because it's that much more content. It's that much more boxing. When Matchroom doesn't have a card on, you can see about watching a Golden Boy Promotions card if they're doing one. I don't actually want Golden Boy to leave DAZN, but if they do, I'd prefer they not go to Triller. I'd prefer they go to ESPN, Fox, Showtime, anybody but Triller. The article continues. After spending the last couple of years with the slogan of pay-per-view is dead, DAZN will stage their first pay-per-view event in December. It is yet to be confirmed, but Gennady Golovkin's showdown against Ryota Murata could be the fight they go with first. Triple G, the current IBF middleweight titleist, will go to Tokyo and take on Murata in a bid to win his WBA strap and unify at 160 pounds on December 28th. And I have to say that if they go with that as their pay-per-view debut, that really is less than ideal for Americans because that fight is happening in the land of the rising sun, which means in this part of the world, it's going to be pretty early in the morning for premium pricing.
Yeah, that Yoka versus Tanaka fight last year was at the crack of dawn.
So while it's a rumor, just a rumor right now, I hope that Markowski and the people over there at DAZN consider which markets the fight will be made a pay-per-view towards. The American market, the Americans, most of them, they won't even be awake that early in the morning, and the ones that are, they're not going to want to pay.
They're not going to want to pay more on top of their subscription that early in the morning.
But you know, right now, comes to the Golden Boy Promotions stuff, well, I told you guys a while ago. When Canelo Alvarez decided to sever ties with Golden Boy Promotions, that greatly affected DAZN's relationship with Golden Boy Promotions because Golden Boy no longer has Canelo Alvarez as a bargaining chip. Golden Boy don't mean to DAZN now what they meant before when they had a contract with Canelo. Now that Canelo is a network and promotional free agent, free to go wherever he wants to go, what other incentive is there to continue doing business with Golden Boy Promotions? Ryan Gersha?
Don't misunderstand me. I'd prefer they stay in bed with each other.
But the fact of the matter is, America as a market, in the general sense, doesn't actually present a great enough value with its nonsensical boxing fans. You got boxing fans here stateside that were celebrating Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos landing on Triller, only to turn right around and start complaining when they found out it was going to be a pay-per-view.
You can't have it both ways.
The money's got to come from somewhere, and in that scenario, what I think all those bleeding hearts didn't realize is that the money was supposed to come from them. There's no easy way to say this, but there's a lot of morons in this country, and a good number of them spend a lot of time on social media arguing about fighters they don't actually support financially, whose fights they don't attend or don't purchase on pay-per-view or don't even watch on TV sometimes.
It's the Dream Stream Committee.
They don't really support their fighters the way that other markets do, like those Brits support their own fighters.
And that's why DAZN is scaling back their efforts here.
You didn't get the attendance for James versus Butaev in the state of Nevada that you got for Smith versus Fowler in Liverpool. In Liverpool, the fans showed up and showed out.
So it makes business sense to scale back their efforts here.
That's the cold hard truth. A lot of people still like to think of America as being the mecca of boxing, but things have changed. If Golden Boy Promotions should end up leaving DAZN at the end of this year when their contract expires, I think the ideal place for them to go would be ESPN, because I happen to think a fighter like a Virgil Ortiz would do very good viewership on a big sports network like that. Though, if for some reason ESPN doesn't pick them up and they're not interested, I think that Showtime, shopping their fights to them, might also be an option. Showtime, who doesn't have full access to all of PBC's fighters. The PBC is dividing their stable between Fox and Showtime. Fox, who has decided to exercise their 1-year option.
They're staying in bed with the PBC for at least one more year.
And because they're staying in bed with the PBC for at least one more year, the PBC will still be dividing their stable of fighters between Fox and Showtime. Guys like Spence, if he ever comes back. Guys like Keith Thurman, Gary Russell. These guys that have been missing in action, in all likelihood, if and when they return, it might be on Fox. So where does that leave Showtime?
Showtime could use the content.
I vaguely recall Bellator having a brief stint on DAZN, and when they were cast out, castaways as they were, they arrived on the shores of Showtime, and they've been there ever since.
Perhaps Golden Boy Promotions can take a similar route.
Shop themselves to Showtime. And I say Showtime, I say ESPN, because the last thing I want as a consumer is another monthly subscription. And if Golden Boy Promotions decides to go all in with Triller, that's what would happen. You'd have to pay another monthly subscription for Golden Boy's cards, which they don't put on that many of.
Golden Boy's stable ain't as big as everybody else's.
Don't misunderstand me. Golden Boy Promotions ain't some mom and pop shop, some kind of Cracker Jack outfit, but compared to the top-ranked stable of fighters,
The Matchroom stable of fighters.
they are a smaller outfit, especially now in the absence of Canelo Alvarez, who you could have argued dwarfed everyone else in terms of sales, but they don't have him as a bargaining chip anymore. They seemed to have been resting their laurels on the continued buzz and success of Ryan Gersha, but Ryan Gersha has been a very unstable character as of late, and Canelo Alvarez himself pointed that out.
He's not dedicated.
And sparsely active these days. He cannot be entrusted with the burden of carrying the Golden Boy Promotions brand into the new era, in spite of being a new school fighter, new blood. Though I'll reiterate, I'd actually prefer that Golden Boy Promotions stay put. I'd prefer that they stay in business with DAZN. I'm hoping that they work something out.
We'll see. Golden Boy Promotions ain't got a lot of fighters.
Not that many, and I hate to say this, but if things don't turn around, things for Golden Boy could go the way they went for Rock Nation, for main events.
Because who do they have to keep them afloat right now?
You tell me who their #1 ticket seller is. You tell me.
Who's got enough marquee value to keep them afloat?
Hey, I'm a big supporter of Virgil Ortiz. I'll be the first to tell you that, but I'll also be the first to tell you that he's not a household name. Not yet. Those eggs need more bacon. Golden Boy Promotions needs more time, and given the look of this situation,
It's worrying.
I don't actually know what's going to happen. I don't actually know how this is going to end. I'm a big fan of a good number of Golden Boy Promotions' fighters. Virgil Ortiz, Sinicia Estrada, Sulem Urbina, Areli Musinho. I won't lie to you, Ryan Garcia's boxing career stopped being interesting to me a long time ago. I still like the Golden Boy Promotions stable, mostly, and I'm just hoping that something can be worked out.